Just gonna be super awkward. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting here quietly. I've just been asked by a couple of different people if if I have special plans for my birthday, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm 44 years old. Do I need to have special plans for my birthday? Like, it's not really that big of a deal, is it? Not really, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a common thing for other people, but I got asked that twice today. It's also weird on your birthday when you have a family like mine that is like not close, because that's the only time you hear from them is happy birthday, Merry Christmas, or somebody's died. And we're at a funeral now and haven't seen each other in years and years and years. So birthdays are always really odd for me because of that. Birthday's only when you're born. Well, yeah, I suppose so. I just find it interesting. I guess I don't know. I guess the one person asked me about my birthday, if I have special plans, probably because she's my aunt, so she knew me when I was little, when birthdays kind of mattered. but we are past those days now. Well, I do have no shortage of food. Like, I can eat stuff. But I don't know. It's also kind of partly because usually there's like, you're going out with a loved one, like to a dinner and a show or something like that. I don't have that kind of a relationship in my life anymore. So there's also that. So kind of makes me kind of go, birthdays. Who needs them? But thank you for the birthday wishes. haven't been ID'd in a really, really long time. So I don't know what it would feel like anymore. Oh, nothing. Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with taking yourself out somewhere, that's for sure. I just wouldn't do it. I think it's just my personality. I just kind of, it doesn't occur to me to go somewhere unless I have a reason to go there. Like, I need to buy groceries, I need to buy a pair of shoes or something. If I have a purpose, then I will go. If I don't, then I won't. I just kind of don't. I don't know. I don't know why. I've always been like that. It's weird, I know, but it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Where was I? Thank you for the birthday wishes. I probably shouldn't have said it was my birthday. I'm feeling very self-conscious now. So, I'm sitting here feeling kind of, I don't know, I'm just entertaining myself at this point. So, if you got questions, that might help, but otherwise, I don't really know what to do or say or whatever. It doesn't help. I'm going through a depression, so I'm tired and I find it difficult to come up with things to say, usually. It sounds like it's nice in Brazil. Hi, Charlie. Am I okay or down? Down, like feeling bad? Is that what you mean? Because I oscillate between both. Oh, I'm I guess you could call it sewing, but it's embroidering, really. Here. Stick my needle somewhere out of the way. There. It's just a bag. That's all. I'm just filling it in, filling in the letters. Not fancy, just something to do. I got it at a staff party. They gave these out, so I was like, oh, well, that's an awfully boring bag. Can't leave it plain. I hope you guys are doing okay out there. It's kind of weird to be sitting in here all by my lonesome, but there's people on the other side of the screen, or at least a few. I'm really not very entertaining, am I? I'm so sorry. I'm feeling bad. Like really bad. I think I mentioned we could, I suppose, I don't know. We could maybe like look at records. I shouldn't play them for copyright problems, but I don't know. We could, but at the same time, that would mean you have to see my old records. Well, some of them are old, some of them are not. But I don't know. It's always kind of embarrassing to let people see that stuff. For me, it's kind of embarrassing. I'm not sure why, but it is. But I thank you for being here anyway. Even though I don't really know what to do. I haven't seen the Mary Tyler Moore Show in a very, 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 very long time. Um, um, is that the song, the You're Gonna Make It After All? Yeah, she throws the hat, and it's the freeze frame with the hat in the air at the end, I think. Yeah, yeah. My gosh, it's been a very long time since I've seen that. TV theme songs are, I guess, a thing of the past now. We used to have them when I was a kid too, but they don't make shows like that anymore, do they? I don't think they do. But I wouldn't know because I haven't watched like regular TV, cable TV in literally years. So I wouldn't even be able to tell you what's on TV anymore other than news. But I get all my news through YouTube because all those news channels put their stuff on YouTube anyway, so why would I have cable? That's so weird. Nowadays. It was essential in the olden days. Not now. I was born too late and the party's over? Is that what you mean? Or I don't know if you're talking to me or or what amongst yourselves in the chat. That's welcome too. Actually, thinking about TV theme songs, I happened to see on Facebook this morning when I was waking up that that old show from the very late 80s and early 90s, the Wonder Years, uh, they actually wrote the character Paul out of the show until Fred Savage, Kevin, the character, until he grew to be the same height. Because apparently the actor who played Paul had his growth spurt before Fred Savage did. And they apparently wrote him out of the show until they were the same height. I just ran into that on Facebook randomly and was like, really? That's kind of silly. Weird. But it was from watching that show as a kid that I learned that With a Little Help from My Friends was apparently also sung by Joe Cocker, because that's the theme song for that show. There you go. There's something to remember. As a kid, I remember hearing that song and hearing the Joe Cocker, song, and being like, where did I hear that before? Wasn't that Ringo Starr who sang that? When I was 9 or whatever. It's like, I think that was a Beatles song, right? I remember those theme songs, those like sequences that you would see at the beginnings of shows and how they would like explain the premise of the show. Like Perfect Strangers, if anybody remembers that. You get to like see the whole arc of, this is how these people, end up living together in an apartment. I realize a recycling of The Odd Couple, basically, but that was my youth's version of The Odd Couple. I like The Odd Couple, the original Odd Couple with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. I think. Was that Tony Randall? I think it was. All this ancient trivia, wow. Jack Klugman's easy to remember because you don't forget a name like Jack Klugman. That's a cool name. Yeah, Jack Klugman, Quincy. Yep. That is correct. Seems to me a lot of times the reason for the medical problems on that show, like why someone died, is because of like succinylcholine or something like that. There was a regular thing that used to happen to all of the people he was autopsying, right? Sinister circumstances. And it was usually the same kind of thing. It was funny. It was easier back in those days to keep people entertained. I feel like those days are over. I think Another favorite, really old, before my time theme song that was fun was Maud, the old B. Arthur show, which was interestingly a spin-off from All in the Family. That I remember. I remember finding that out because the character Maud, as played by B. Arthur, appeared once. Maud was Archie Bunker's cousin, or maybe Edith's cousin. One of the two, something like that. And then they spun that off into the Maud show that we all know, or that we should all know. That was a fun theme song, if you want to listen to a fun theme song. I remember when Rosie O'Donnell had her afternoon talk show back in the earlier 90s, I think it was around until about 96 or 97. I remember watching it around those times, around those years, and I remember B. Arthur went on the Rosie O'Donnell show, and Rosie like sang the theme song to her while she was sitting there in the chair. I was like, that would be such a weird experience if you were a star in a show and people knew the song and they were singing the song to you. You'd be like, yeah, that's a show I was in. At least that's the way I would react. I'd be like, yep, you got it. You know the words. That's interesting that you remember the words. Thank you for the happy birthday. I'm just embroidering a bag. Yeah, it probably looks like I'm looking down strangely at something, but that's what I'm looking at. Um, but I don't have to keep looking down and doing this. I could do something else. I just don't really know what that is. Um, what people want to see or what, I don't know. I'm not very good at guessing these things. It's difficult in these circumstances because that's when those mean little thoughts like to come in to my mind and be like, you're not interesting. That's why you can't think of anything interesting to do or say, you dummy. And that feels terrible, but that is what happens. Well, I suppose this is a gift to myself. It's just a thing for free that I got at a work party. that was given to me. So I was like, well, I guess I'll take it. I don't like using plastic bags when I go to the grocery store, so reusable canvas bag is totally okay. Can't have enough of those. He would? You're talking Ray Barone as in Everybody Loves Raymond, right? That's what I think you're talking, or who I think you're talking about. I don't remember that show well enough anymore. See, that's too recent. I know old TV shows. I realize Everybody Loves Raymond is now actually kind of old, but I didn't really pay much attention to it when it was new, so I don't remember the character Ray Barone very well. Ah, you're testing my knowledge. Nice. No, I've got little bits of knowledge about different things, I suppose. What did I just do? Just ran my threads through each other. There we go. Fixed. Is there any change with you which has been significant since the last birthday? Well, about a month and a half or so after, I ended up breaking my ankle. That was after my birthday last year. That was a significant change. It wasn't super duper fun or anything, that's for sure, but it certainly changed things, unfortunately. But that's about all. Otherwise, I live in the same place, and ultimately I do the same job. It's at a different location, different company, but it's ultimately the same thing. It's okay. That's all right. I fell and broke my ankle. And I'm reminded of it anyway, every day. Every morning, getting out of bed is a bit of an adventure, because after I've been off my ankle, because I've been asleep, it's sore. It's sore the next day. Every morning it is sore, and I hobble around my house until it stops hurting after a little bit. But that's to be expected, I guess, when you've got a plate and screws in your ankle. I feel compelled to ask, like, what you guys are all doing, because I'm not really doing anything, and I assume if you're here with me, I'm probably in the background, maybe, and that's cool. Just means you're busy doing your stuff. Pretty sure your stuff is interesting. Do I want to take myself out? No, not really. I don't really have anywhere to go, and I also can't be out very late in the afternoon anyway, because I start working at 2 in the morning, so I need to go to bed in the afternoon. I am the only one on your screen right now. Well, that's fine, but I imagine you're doing other stuff, like you're washing dishes, or I don't know, filing your taxes, whatever. Oh, it's past midnight where you are. I wake up at midnight every day so that I can go to work. No, I wouldn't want to file my taxes at midnight either. I still have to deal with that. I kind of don't know where to start with that stuff. I've never actually filed my own taxes before. When I was married, my husband did all that stuff. I've never had to do it. So I actually I have to find an accountant and be like, help, I don't know. Hello, Sophie. How do I manage my time and sleep? With difficulty. Oh, now I'm preoccupied with this catch in my thread. It's annoying. I don't know. I wake up at midnight. I kind of drink some tea, journal, and then I get ready, and then I get a taxi ride, and I go to work at 2 o'clock. And then I'm finished at work at 10 o'clock, and then I come home and have maybe a little something to eat. Usually I get something to eat from work. That's one of the perks of my job, is I ask the kitchen for what I want to eat, and they make it for me before I leave. so I don't have to do any cooking at home, which is always helpful when I'm in the middle of a work stretch. Okay, I just need to finish you and start over. Yeah, I'm gonna just start over. So I don't know if that actually answered your question or anything, but that's the way that's sort of the schedule I keep, is I go to bed at I don't like to go to bed any later than like 3 in the afternoon when I have to wake up at midnight. It's different if I'm going to be working starting in the evening and then working through into the early morning, which is what I have been doing for the past like 4 months. And then they were like, hey, the busy season is here and we need you to like learn to do more stuff, and you're working on your own right now, and so we need you to be here for instruction, blah blah blah. And I was like, that means I have to flip my entire schedule around for sleeping. That's not easy or fun. but you do what you must, you know. Otherwise, my favorite shift is the one I used to work, which starts at 7:30 at night and then I'm finished at 3:30 in the morning. That one I like because I come home, get here around 3:45 and get ready for bed, and I immediately can go and rest, and it's a reasonable time to do that. I go to bed at about 4:30 or so, and then I wake up at around, I don't know, 11 or noon. And then I like that because then I can immediately get out of bed and like clean the kitchen if I have to, do the laundry, all of this. Whereas when you work midnight and into the morning, like when you're awake at midnight, I live in an apartment house. There's like a neighbor right through this wall. I can't make lots of noise. So there's a lot of my time in the day that I just simply have to be quiet, and I can't do anything, can't listen to music or really watch videos or anything like that because the walls are thin and I don't want to get in trouble. So that's the reason I don't like the schedule as much, quite honestly, is that it eats into like several hours of my day. I just have to sit and read and like write and do silent things. Of course, my intercom goes. They can leave whatever it is. They can leave whatever it is at the door. I'm fine with that. No, I'm not baking anything today. I kind of feel like, are they gonna ring again? I'm sitting on the floor. That's why I'm really kind of hesitating to get up and go and deal with that. They usually just deliver the next day. It's not a phone, it's an intercom. It's the buzzer from the front door of the building. It's a thing on the wall. I don't know if any buildings do that anymore, but this one does because it's old. I guess I have to go and look. Jeez. Hello. Okay, just 1 second, please. Okay, guys, I gotta go downstairs. Bye. Okay. It's not like fun package or anything, sadly, but necessary. I got a new pair of shoes. Super boring, but I needed a new pair of shoes. And if I like these ones, I will, I'll buy another pair. So, they're just black runners. Well, I mean, I guess the buzzer looks like a phone. It's got like a receiver on it and cord and... Well, thank you. A pair of shoes that I bought. Hopefully these ones last a little longer. Unfortunately, the shoes I have wear out quite quickly because they're cheap. I think that's the reason. They get holes in the soles. worried? No, not really. I don't really worry about it. I don't suspect. I don't know. I've always had this weird feeling. I don't suspect I'm going to get very old. I don't mean to sound sinister or anything. I just have a weird instinct that, you know, I don't need to feel old because I probably won't get old, if that makes sense. I know that sounds odd, but but it's true. Well, now I'm wondering, you said it was midnight where you are, so it's almost noon where I am right here, so you're 12 hours ahead. So I'm trying to think, where's 12 hours ahead? Because that's even further ahead than like Europe from me. I think they're 9 hours, something like that. Are you in Asia somewhere? Maybe? All right, fair enough. I remember getting a taxi ride home one morning after a shift. It was about 3:30 or so in the morning, and the driver was talking to somebody on his headset. I assume it was a hands-free thing. I wasn't really paying any attention. I was just riding in the car because I was tired. And when we got here and he was dropping me off, he apologized and was talking about how he'd been talking with his mom and how he had to talk to her at that hour because it was that much further ahead. She was in India. So he was telling me all about how that's the only time I can talk to her, when she's awake. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I can understand that. Oh no, you sat on a chair with no back and you fell. Ow. I can imagine that would hurt quite a bit. And it's true, things crunch a lot easier, I notice. Because I swear, when I fell and broke my ankle like I did last year, I um I swear I've fallen down the stairs like that before and there was no problem. I just got up and carried on with my life, but but this time, holy smokes, no way. I had to get up and like pull myself up the stairs. It was awful. Oh, it's 2 p.m. there. Yeah. Yeah, you're a couple hours ahead where you are. It's it's 12 o'clock here. Feels good to get those new shoes. I'm gonna bring them to work and they're gonna be so happy. They've instituted this new rule where you can't wear your outdoor shoes inside the kitchen anymore. You gotta wear special kitchen shoes now. It's like, man, I I gotta get more shoes now for you people. Jeez. It's hard enough just to show up and do all the work you need me to do. Now you gotta tell me what shoes to wear? Sheesh. There we go. I filled in the letter O. There you go. Took an hour, but I did it. These letters are slow. Do I have a lot of shoes? No, I don't. Russia has 14 time zones. I believe that. I live in Canada, also a giant landmass like that too. And yeah, we've got time zones for sure. I don't know how many, but quite a few. Quite a few. How's the weather? I think we're officially through the worst of winter. All the snow's gone. It hasn't gotten all that cold in a long time. I think the last time it felt genuinely cold was January, quite honestly. Pretty mild year. And it's warm enough now that you don't need to, zip your jacket up really high when you're going out for the mail or anything like that. You can just go and get what you need to get, and it's just not so oppressively cold, which is nice. Very, very nice. You believe the winters are brutal? It really depends. Canada is very, 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 very big. So it really depends where you are. And even within a province, it depends where you are. I spent most of my life on I guess what they would call the coast of British Columbia, but here, as a person who lived there for as long as I did, I just call it the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island. I lived there, and there the winters are pretty mild, generally speaking. There's not a lot of harsh weather. Living further inland, as I do now, it's more significant of a shift. Back on the island and the Lower Mainland, like where Vancouver is, that's what I'm kind of talking about. The weather is mild enough that you can have all season tires on your car and just use those all year. Whereas here you really can't. You have to have an extra set. You have to have winter tires because it gets that slippery and snowy and dangerous on the road. It's just because of the difference in the climate. It's also a lot drier here too. So there's that. A lot less rain. So yeah, same province but very, very different. It's weird, but it's true. But if you go somewhere like where I used to live when I was a kid in Alberta, it's a harsher climate. And I would consider their winters brutal by comparison, quite honestly. Ontario is bad for their winters are harsh, from what I know. My ex-husband used to talk about that. All the prairies, it's harsher there, so. And further north too. I don't know how interesting that is, but hey, there you go. Chicken spaghetti. I'm not sure what that is. I don't believe I've ever had anything like that before. Oh, yeah, I guess if you've never kind of been around snow and stuff like that, it would be interesting. I remember about, yeah, it's been about 35 years now. I remember we were living in Alberta where it's much colder in the winter, and my grandmother's sister and her husband came from Italy, and they'd never been anywhere outside of Italy before. So when they came here, it was winter, it happened to have snowed, and my great uncle was like fascinated by that. He was like, what is that? He was absolutely perplexed. And my grandfather actually took out his shovel so that they could shovel the driveway, and he like showed him how to do it. And there's this picture, I think my dad probably has it now, of my uncle with a snow shovel, and he's like really getting into it. And he's like, I learned a new thing. Of course, we're all like, you can enjoy that all you like. Have at it, shovel all the driveways if you like. We don't want to. You don't drive anymore? I don't either. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't have a car anymore. Otherwise I would. But I don't, only for that reason though. Clint Eastwood movies. I'm really bad at movies. I think my mom used to watch those sometimes too. I seem to remember her enjoying like Dirty Harry and those kind of old Clint Eastwood films. Although to be fair, I don't know if he's been in anything lately. No idea. Do I enjoy driving? It's fine. Like I was saying before, I'm usually very purposeful with what I'm doing. So if I need to get groceries and I have a car to drive, then I just, go and do it. It's fine. I don't mind driving, but I don't need to or anything. I'm happy to ride in a vehicle and have someone else drive it. That's fine. But I'm also happy to drive myself if I can. Play Misty. I don't have a piano, and even if I did, I couldn't play it because I don't know how. I hope it was a satisfactory answer anyway. Maybe I would want to play the piano. My sister plays the piano. She's the one who plays the piano, of course. I'm the one who didn't learn those things. You just tested me again with like the Coogan's Bluff thing, Misty. I don't know what Coogan's Bluff is, if that's a movie or something. Probably. I don't know. Because I don't know about movies very much. But hey, glad to know that I'm being quizzed. Awesome. What's an interesting thing I have come across recently? Well, I wish I had something cool. Because I live such a sort of simple life where I go to work and then I come home and I take care of myself at home, I don't see a lot of stuff. I also work weird hours too, so I don't have occasion to see lots of other stuff that involves other people all that much. I know I feel embarrassed, but but it's true. It's a very, very, very quiet and simple life. Oh, I know. I don't mean like I'm embarrassed, like I'm ashamed, but I just mean it's kind of embarrassing to have uh, someone ask you that and then you don't have an immediate answer of something nice. You know what I mean? That's all. Um, but yeah, there's a strong need, I think, for me to just be shielded from things. No, you're not bothering me. I'm just sorry that I don't have kind of... I find going live a little bit scary and stressful, and I find that when it's time, I suddenly have like my whole like personality kind of shuts down, and I don't know what to do or what to say anymore. It's not that I ever know what to do or say, quite honestly, but it's worse in this kind of scenario. Because there's this sort of expectation that we're supposed to be entertaining and high energy and that sort of thing, which I am not. So well, they're not like fancy shoes or anything. That's why I haven't put them on. They're just running shoes for work. I actually really hate shoes. I find them uncomfortable and obnoxious. I've always been like that about shoes. I don't like them. Oh Lord, I hope these are going to be okay. Well, the shoelaces aren't 10 feet long, which is fantastic. Normally they are, so that's something. I hope I can stand in these. One of my problems now is my foot doesn't work like it used to work. So I stand strangely, and my shoes need to be flat. I can't wear any kind of a heel at all, or I will hurt myself badly. Okay, I'm sitting on the floor, so that's why I'm making all these noises. Okay. Oh no, these are gonna be okay. Yay, good. You can't see them, but they're on. No, these are gonna be fine. But I will take them off because I don't have socks on and I don't want to immediately make them stinky. Yep, it will work. As you can see, I don't like shoes. I wish I didn't need them at all. That would be great. Well. Can I do that? Oh, I think I can. Well, that was fun. Yeah, I think they're fine. They will suffice. I'm really not much of a shoe person, so I don't have any strong opinions. The only strong opinions I ever form about shoes are how they're expensive and I don't like them, or if they're uncomfortable, then I get upset. But usually runners, I don't have too much trouble, so. Oh, thanks for the birthday wish. Wow, I feel like I've probably overstayed my welcome. But I had the intention of either maybe looking at my records or I did draft a poem. I also have hair clips if anybody's interested in seeing them. I have a bunch of them that I've never worn before. They're just in a box waiting to be sold or something. But I don't necessarily want to do those things or share those things if people don't care about them either. So, you know. I am thirsty. Mm, simple and natural as possible? How do you mean? I don't know what you're kind of getting at there. Sorry. uh, well, I suppose I'll do it now quickly and we'll see what happens. I, as I was saying before, working my stupid schedule and being awake at midnight, I have I had a nice birthday? I've had a neutral birthday. Not great, but not terrible. That's usually how it goes around these parts for me, anyway. So anyway, working this kind of schedule, I have to be quiet for most of the time that I'm awake, because it's midnight when I wake up. And so I've been reading more books, and I've been rereading The Bell Jar. I've read this several times. I read it in university more than once, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be interesting to try and read that and maybe write a poem or something. And I was like, oh yeah, the opening sequence of this book says, "It was a queer, sultry summer, the summer they electrocuted the Rosenbergs, and I didn't know what I was doing in New York. I'm stupid about executions. The idea of being electrocuted makes me sick, and that's all there was to read about in the papers. Goggle-eyed headlines staring up at me on every street corner and at the fusty, peanut-smelling mouth of every subway. It had nothing to do with me, but I couldn't help wondering what it would be like being burned alive all along your nerves. I thought it must be the worst thing in the world." And it got me to thinking about world events like that, and you know, moments like that are, I mean, obviously the Rosenbergs, it was very political and it was different, but popular culture is full of those kind of references too, and I just drafted a poem up. So I called it, tentatively anyway, I called it Here. I've handed in my pen for the night. It's like the 50s here. We face forward, an anchor telling us first and exclusive, Michael Jackson is dead. As I tip my Dixie cup of pills and water down my throat. 6 weeks ago I tried it too, but wound up here. A common room of involuntaries in orange jumpsuits, trying to moonwalk. Cops dragging my new roomie by her scruff as she said, "The voices won't stop, but I don't want more shocks." All I can do is stare at broken and missing floor tiles, my jumpsuit a helicopter view of a corpse gurney shrouded in propofol mysteries. There you have it, my Sylvia Plath inspired birthday poem. There you go. I didn't write that today or anything. I did last month. So it's not brand new, but it's not old. I hope you're all doing all right out there, wherever you are. Thanks for the kind words. I've often thought, do I maintain? Yep, I do. Many trees have died. I've often thought I should maybe do. Thank you. I've wondered if I should incorporate that a little bit into what I do regularly on the channel, just like read. I know there are channels like that out there that are all about book reviewing and things. I don't know if I'm necessarily inclined to be a full-time book person, but it does feel nice to read what somebody else said and or wrote, I should say, and kind of have that to play with. What else? Done that and that. So put that all over here now. I feel like I'm being stared at. Well, it was nice to see you anyway, and I hope it was a little bit fun, maybe, although I don't know. I imagine I'll maybe get better at this. I might get better at this with time, I don't know. It's overwhelming because it feels like all I do with all of my time is live behind the 8 ball and need to be learning how to deal with something, how to do something. That's usually what I get stuck with. So well, that's good. I never know what fun, would be like for other people. I always imagine that to be fun, you would have to be, really outgoing and, having pyrotechnics happen and being an entertainer, which I'm just not. So I feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, even if I tried, I couldn't do it, so. Is there anything else? I'm just looking around, seeing what I have. I don't know. I know, I do want to just be me because I don't really have any choice, but also it's it gets tricky in these moments because I have that mean person in my head that says, you know, nobody cares about what you have to say or anything, so don't say anything. And then I don't say anything. It's also hard because even though I'm the older one, I have a younger sister who was always the entertaining one. She was always the funny one. She's the one who knows how to play the piano and sing and all of that, and I can do none of those things. So there's also that in the back of my head. There's like this competition, even though that's not the right word. And it's kind of silly because, you know, shouldn't be in competition with a sibling. That's bizarre, especially as middle-aged people as we are. So it's kind of weird. But that is what goes through my head, is you don't have, you know, cool musical instrument to play, you don't have a good singing voice. So what can you offer people? Not very much. That's how it feels. And I know that that's not very nice, but it's a feeling that I combat. Well, thank you. That's kind. But I do argue with myself about these things every time. Every time I go to upload anything, I always have to kind of, you know, close my eyes and hit publish because this probably isn't very good. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, I know that if my sister was like here or in the audience out there, she wouldn't be like, be more like me, you know, like she wouldn't say that stuff either. But it's just the way it is to live in my head. I also learned the terrible, terrible lesson growing up that value comes from being quiet and not saying anything ever. And the only times I really did say stuff was when there was a real problem. So it was kind of negative or nothing if I was going to say something. And I try not to be that way now, but I still struggle to communicate with people. I'm much better at listening to them rather than, you know, being the one giving the information for some reason. Hmm. Well, it's been a while, so I should probably think about going and getting ready for bed, because it's 20 to 1 in the afternoon, and I need to have a little snack and go to bed so that I can go to work, because I don't ever get 2 days off in a row or anything. Well, that's good that that I'm not on my own. Yeah, I try to, I know that I'll, you know, nobody's ever perfect at anything, so I know that that's just not something to really worry about. But making progress, that's tough. because it doesn't always feel like one is making progress. But I realize that, you know, a lot of the information that makes me, I'll say me, think that is just, you know, metrics that YouTube pumps out or something, and that doesn't necessarily reflect what's actually going on. It's just subscriber counts and watch hours, times, and views on your videos and comments and how many likes are you getting and all of that. You know, we tend to equate that with progress, and therefore if those numbers drop in some kind of way, it can lead you to think pretty quickly, oh, I'm not making progress, I'm not doing good, I should quit. Especially if you're me. I've had that conversation many a time. I'm not doing good, I should quit. But I continue to try to hold out hope that I won't have to keep doing the job that I'm doing, because I'll get monetized one day, and I'll never be monetized if I quit. So that's usually what ends up helping me a little to move past it. I have to say that I've done a couple of hard jobs in my working regular 9 to 5 kind of life. I baked bagels last year, and that was a very, very long, grueling shift, involving setting up all my equipment that I needed and rising all that dough and then rolling it and processing it and bagging it and putting everything from that kitchen away because it was a shared kitchen experience. That was a hard job. I continue to do a different hard job for different reasons. It's hard in different ways. But both of those jobs seem easy compared to the online YouTube experience. Well, thanks for the birthday wishes. So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to do this in order to kind of take a little bit of power back, so I don't have to be a slave to hourly work that is very, very physically demanding and difficult. For the amount of money that I make, I'm grossly undercompensated. I mean, let's be honest. But most people in my line of work are, so it's not unique for me, that's for sure. Throw that away later. Well, I'm just looking at my bookshelf, seeing if there's anything else I should read from. Nothing's really jumping out at me at the moment. Nice to see ya. I'm gonna read that. Oh, you have one last question? Okay. Hopefully I have one last answer. You can let me know whenever you want. Well, if I'm being honest, gee, I don't know the answer because I don't have a good sense of how I cope with things because I've been taking a lot of medications for a long time, so I actually kind of just kind of numbed out when if something bad happens, then I just kind of, that's a bad thing that happened, you know. I struggle with that only because I have an illness like that that makes it hard. But that's also why I tend to live simply and to shield. I tend to shield myself from a lot of people and events and potential for things to go badly. I know that that's probably not the healthiest thing, but I live by myself and I have no other help or support with anything. So I feel particularly inclined to, you know, to do that stuff, to be shielded. It wasn't like that to the same degree when I was still married. But the world is different now that I'm not. I've learned to fight alone. Well, I don't know if I've learned to fight on my own, really, because all I do is stay safe. I just stay away from most people and things. So I don't really know if that makes me a fighter in any way. Might make me more of a retreater than a fighter, but that is definitely a factor, is keeping my own self safe, because nobody's going to do it for me, and the world is cruel full of mean people wanting to do mean things. So I don't want to engage with that. so I don't. Yeah, I feel compelled to do that for sure. It's kind of a crummy lesson to have learned. I wish that I didn't have to do that, but I feel at this stage that I must. Yeah, I know. I know that's a hugely generalized statement. I'm not saying everybody is, out to get you or something. That would be untrue and a huge generalization, but it it just feels that way a lot of times. Just everybody's in it for themselves, aren't they? We're supposed to not be in it just for ourselves and our own gain, but it feels like that's the case sometimes, and it's sad because then it just contributes to the negativity and feeling bad, right? At least for me. Okay, have a good night. Well, I don't know. The world might be a better place if we weren't all so preoccupied all the time with needing to to get ahead and to get money and to get food and, compete with each other over every little thing. That's, I think, what makes people who would normally be kind people into people who are not kind. And that's, I think, part of the problem. But I don't know. I'm just guessing at most. Thank you for the birthday wishes. So funny. I get more, interest in my birthday from you guys than anybody else. Okay. Well, I probably really should go find something to eat for a little snack. For real this time. Move this all over here. Well, all right. I think I better head on out of here. Hopefully I'll come up with something better next time. This was kind of short notice for this particular live, so not as much to really do or say. So yeah, my birthday's basically all over now. I'm gonna turn in for the rest of the day. So there you are. I will see you next time.